Just be like drinking bottles at a time. I mean, you'd be drinking a bottle a game, like one game every bottle, one bottle every game. You'd just be drinking. You wouldn't stop drinking. You wouldn't even be able to breathe. What's my game? I don't play drinking games. I'm a responsible adult. Double fault. You're insulting there. I'm a responsible adult. 15 all. Fourth double fault. Sorry, second double fault for Stevens. She says, wide the backhand of Meyer. Return the backhand of Stevens into the forehand of Adaj Meyer. Stevens the backhand again to the forehand of Meyer. Into the backhand of Stevens as Meyer hits a forehand down the middle. Stevens gets it into the backhand of Meyer. Into the forehand of Stevens. Adaj Meyer hits another backhand to the forehand of Stevens, but overhits it this time. 30-15. Cam's not old enough to drink.
All right. All right. Hey, guys. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. I'm going to miss you for a couple of hours now. I'm going to miss you for a couple of hours. Ah, 487, 458. Hey, everybody. In 12 minutes, I know the Joker plays tonight. I can't wait. I hope I can watch it. I certainly hope I can watch it. Just trying to set this up so you guys can hear him when he speaks. I did my what do you call it? Draw. I already missed one of them because Dominic Thiem won. But I don't remember even picking him or against him. But apparently he won. But anyway, I'm excited for Djokovic tonight because once he plays that game, he goes back into first place, and I think he'll head toward 400 weeks in first, which is pretty good. Bracket. What are your brackets? A. Narad Wells, Eddie, Mr. Goose, Eddie, NR, Ely, Ryan, Eric, CJ Yukon, Scott, Jeff, Byrne, Red Pepper Ronnie, Jerome, young man, Ian Tucker, Raul. Hey, goodness, yeah, he needs a big hug. He doesn't let me do it very often. But when he does, he gets a big, big hug. Yeah, let's take their money. I agree with you. So the stock is my eyesight as I age. Stock is 487. It was as high as 514. And it really looked like it was going, but it didn't. I understand. No, I can't repeat that. It's nothing big. It's nothing big. But I can't repeat it. What was I going to do? Doggy hugs, doggy breath, doggy hugs, doggy joy, doggy size, doggy woofs, everything. Yeah, the volume is good. Let me look at it again for the volume. Yep. Now we're at 498.9. 457,000 shares. It's pretty good. No news on Jenny. I think she's fine, but she needs support, and I'm sure she's worn out. And no news on Anna either. I called her, but she never called back. I think this can be stressful for everyone. Can I ask him if we should sell the call options or exercise them? Well, I can ask him, but unless you're changing your mind about wanting to hold the stock, I don't know why you would exercise them. I suppose there would be a situation where you think, if as you get closer to the expiration date, the day, you think that by exercising them, the stock's going to be going up, continues, so you don't want it to expire. But I don't know why you would put that cost against yourself. I mean, if the stock goes to make a number up 15 and your calls are the 5s, and you have 1,000 of them, you're going to have to put up $5,000 to exercise, and your profit is $10,000 if you exercise. If you just sell the calls, your profit is $10,000 or maybe a little bit more. What's the advantage of exercising? But I'll ask him. I shall ask him. Sure. I mean, people have different opinions about what to do, of course. But the reason you buy calls is it's less risky. It's less money at risk. It's more risky. It's less money. So I guess that's just semantics. If you risk less money, then it's less risky, I suppose. But what I meant to say is that I have no idea who the senator is that worked with him. I'll ask him. Oh, maybe Moody, he's getting ready to say goodbye, or that's what I think with Lucky. I hope not, by the way. I hope not for you. Biggest advantage to exercising the calls is that whomever sold the contract has to get them in the market for whatever price. That's true, Candace. It could be part of the short squeeze. My understanding is that happens anyway. That the option market makers buy the stock to cover their position, protect their position anyway. Wow, 50, almost 50 million shares brings it to 512, and then 400 shares brings it down to 504. And no one at the SEC is concerned about that. They're just concerned if the stock goes up, is there some sort of manipulation? But manipulation on the downside, as far as the SEC is concerned, you go at it, boys and girls. You go at it. If you want to collude, collude. If you want to manipulate, manipulate. If you want to cross, cross. If you want to spoof, spoof. The SEC's here to let you know that it's okay to do it. Yeah, yeah. When he dies, I'm going to be out of it. To me, he's so beautiful. His coat is just perfect. He's given me, I think, 13 years, just completely without any demands. Just such a good guy. And, I don't think there can be a test for dogs to get to heaven, but if there is one, he'll pass it with flying colors. Finger has an option chain. You should have seen him when he was younger. He would go in the park and he would get every dog running. And he was the fastest dog. He was the fastest dog around. Except for one Whippet. But the Whippets didn't have staying power like he did. But those days are long gone. Long, long gone. For Lucky Boy.
Hello.
All right, you're on.
Hello?
You're on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on a second. All right, everybody, welcome. Again, this is not to buy or sell, educational purposes, and just reporting on security fraud. And this is day, who knows, 2000, who knows how long we've been doing this. But just to go over, I traveled out west. I'm meeting a group of investors tonight, maybe 6 to 7. And we'll have dinner and we'll go over, everything that we talk about here. But, a lot of people like to meet person, a couple of money managers, hedge funds, and a couple of big players. Anyway, let's talk about what the stock has been doing today. Finger motion moved up. Again, there's more call buying. And the shorts keep trying to push it below $5. They keep doing these attacks. I posted it on Twitter, the bar chart, where you can actually see the red bars down, the daily chart. You can see how they sell 20 and 30,000 at the market, trying to knock it down just to get people to bail out, and there's nobody selling. If you can't see that the people aren't selling, I don't know what to tell you anymore. It's very obvious what they're doing, and you can see it. No one is selling. The calls are being bought. And if you look on the put side, they stop with the put nonsense. There's nothing there. So you just remember, just take a look at all the option series on the put side to see if they're going to create some stock to sell. They haven't really done it. All right, again, who sells the stock and wants less all the time? If these guys thought they can win, they would let the stock go higher. Obviously, they're having some pressure somewhere, because they keep trying to hold it down. What's the breakout point? I don't know, but I always tell you that accumulation is the most important thing in these situations. If you're buying 500 shares, you buy 250, you buy 200, and add it as they try to knock it down. This way you can get an average price a little lower, because they always seem to try to knock it down. But the accumulation and the sideways action always leads to higher prices. It's just, that's part of the beast. If you do it long enough, you will start to discover that yourself. Anyway, William, let's start out with some questions, because I traveled. I was up early.
Yeah.
And for those who haven't been in Vegas in a long time, getting up early New York Times for at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning is very interesting in the lobby, to say the least.
Are the
Yeah.
are the hookers wearing the same thing they were the night before?
There were tons of them. I had to hit them with a fly swatter to get them out of here. I kept telling the girls, I know I'm not that good looking. I'm not getting a discount. So, anyway. But
They weren't looking at you. They were looking at your wallet.
I was in I'm in my Nashville hockey shirt, the T-shirt down there, So very interesting that it's very out in the open and very aggressive. And I dropped 2 of them on a guy that was 70 years old. The poor guy almost fainted. I asked him if they were his girls. He can have them. Here you go. So I dropped them off on him. But anyway,
there's some questions. One question is, if the stock goes up, would you exercise your calls or sell them?
You're going to exercise them to go into the stock? First of all, the options don't expire for 3 weeks. All right, so option expiration is a long time in the world. I mean, people don't understand it, but it is a long time for options to expire. That's like an eternity. I don't know why you would exercise it to buy the stock. That means they're at parity. Right now, the options are trading with a premium. I mean, so I guess whoever's doing the options doesn't understand why they're doing them. The reason you do options is because it gets you more leverage.
Right.
Right? You're trying to go the opposite way. You're going away from the leverage and going to putting up money to buy the stock.
It doesn't really make sense to do it.
No.
Unless you want to own the stock for a long time for some reason. But
just buy the stock.
Take the profits and then buy the stock.
Right.
Who was the senator who worked with Patrick Byrne?
What was his name? He's from the Midwest, Iowa. Chuck, what's his name?
Chuck Grassley?
Grassley.
Right. Chuck Grassley.
Pat Byrne also worked with Orrin Hatch before. I think he passed away. Orrin Hatch told Pat Byrne, when you report on this subject, make a lot of noise because the people on the other side want to kill you. Pat Byrne put that in writing. So for those who don't understand, this is a dangerous game. If we're on the long side, obviously someone's going to get squeezed on the short side and lose everything. And those people aren't nice people. So Orrin Hatch told Patrick Byrne, and I can actually find the quote where they told him they're going to kill him. And he said he would go out and do everything he can to expose it at that point. But Chuck Grassley, he was part of it. He knows all about it. And for those who don't don't go back, a senator from Shelby, from Alabama, he was on the Senate banking. He could have stopped naked short selling many years ago, but he squashed the big meeting on it. So Shelby, Patrick Byrne had a real fight with that guy, but I think he's gone now from the Senate banking. But he's the one that protected the crooks many years ago. Senator Shelby of the Senate banking. He was from Alabama.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that Finger has options is affecting the stock or causing the stock to not squeeze, causing it to not go up more than it otherwise would?
No, this is actually making it very bad for the shorts. All right? Because the gentleman that bought 1,000 calls on Friday, they're basically short on one tick 100,000 shares. All right? And they're short at $5.50. They paid 50 cents for it on Friday. So they're short at $5.50. That's 100,000 shares right there. So selling the calls creates the short. Because now they're short more. And people could do more than buying 200, 500 shares. People are buying calls. And, you're getting 50 at a time. It's short 5,000. It's just piling up very quickly. All right, so again, they can play the game, but it's not going to last forever.
If Finger goes, for example, to $1,000, are you sure you can sell your calls? Who could afford to buy them?
Well, we'll have to see, right? Who who bought all the calls in GameStop? Who bought all the calls in Volkswagen? The shorts have to buy it. That's who buys it. I can tell you this: no one I know will be buying your calls at 1,000. That's for shit sure.
Right.
Everybody I know in the free world has been buying it here. Why would they pay 1,000? So the only people that would be paying 1,000 are the shorts, the prime broker, and the depository trust cleaning up the mess.
Yeah.
I told you, and I'll say it again, this is a life-changing circumstance that doesn't come around every day. This is very different than the other type of short squeezes that we all know nothing about. There's all types of stocks. I don't follow them all. Like GNS, it's going up. People are reporting on it. He's squeezing them on the dividend. Okay, where's it going to? Tell us what's going on. No one knows. You know, I have no idea. How big is the short? No one reports on it. So if you want to go take a shot, good luck. I have no idea where it's going. I have nothing about it. Went to 9. He settled with the short sellers, and the stock got crushed back down. And now he's doing something to force the issue again. Who's the short? I don't know, because he covered the short. I have no idea what's going on there. I have zero. You know, I see the volume every day. It's 70 million, 80 million shares. This looks like a controlled buy-in. I have no idea what's going on there. So, but, you know, I follow GTII and finger motion. That's what I follow.
So one of the listeners says I'm making it boring today, but I just want to point out, you asked me to ask the questions.
Yeah, so. No, listen, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's, it's 11 o'clock now. I've been up for a long time, so I'm sort of, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. But again, I thought maybe by asking a few questions, it can get me in the right direction or something I was missing.
Do you think the whales are going to force the issue, or are they just going to wait? You answered.
Yeah, I said yes. People, listen, big players are all around the stock. There was a big meeting yesterday up in Boston, 2 people I know, and one of the persons represents a multi-billion-dollar fund that was asking questions about finger motion. I actually was educated on it yesterday. They let me know about it, that they wanted to know information about it, and they met yesterday up in Boston. So the word's getting around. I told you, it starts small, and we work up the ladder to the bigger players. That's how it works.
One guy, the stock went to, I think, 514 or 512 on 13 or 14,000 shares. And then it dropped to 504 on 400 shares. And he said, what the F?
That's what they do, my friend. That's why I tell you every day, if you want to buy it, you buy half, and then you bid for half. Or you can buy 20%. You can buy 1,000 shares. You can buy 200 shares at 514. As they knock it down to 504, you can buy 200 more shares. If they try to push it below 5, I don't know what the reasoning is that they want it below 5, but obviously that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hold it below 5. I have no idea why.
Maybe it's because the retail brokers can start buying at 5.
Margin, yes, I know all about that. But again, so I mean, they're sitting here trying to sell it lower. Wall Street is about pennies. These guys are doing everything possible to losing pennies. That's all they're trying to do. You cannot win. I don't care who you are by taking losses each day. It just doesn't. You get run over at the end. I watched it happen at Taser, Herbalife, Andrea Electronics, Weight Watchers. I've seen it all. They try to hold it down. AMC, they hold it down. They're holding it down. GME, they're holding it below 4. Right? All these stocks, they all happen. All right? It's not happening fast enough, but the accumulation of the stock, it makes it better every day. If you want to sell and you can't stand it anymore, you move along. That's just how it works. It's not for everybody.
Which calls would you buy, September or October? And I guess what strike price?
I'm a front month guy. I don't like to talk about them anymore. I tried to teach about it, but my friends are buying the sixes. You can see them playing there. Sixes, fives. If you look on the put side, there's no put activity, zero.
Is Daniel Borders real? Do you know him? Have you met him?
I spoken to him one time. I really don't. I hear nothing but good things about him. That's all I know. If I ran him over, I wouldn't know it was him. I don't know.
Do you have any comments? Vocal is doing an offering. Do you have any?
I haven't had time to research it. It's 3 cents. I don't know what he's doing. We would revisit. We'll visit it once we carry the characters out here and our second idea.
All right.
Everything he's doing can be documented. We have people following it, so we'll just have to wait and see. Let's get the one that's ready to go off the table, and then we can move to the next one. Again, I said it 1,000 times. The reason the life-changing opportunities here is due to security fraud. You can all see it. You can't see the continued offering it lower all the time. Stocks do not trade like that. Okay, you buy the offer and they drop it lower. That is a sign of manipulation, and they're just trying to get you to panic to sell. They've been doing it for so long now, we all know about it.
Apparently there was a tax reduction in China. Is that going to help Finger?
Well, I don't really know much about the tax issue. I saw at the trades they dropped it by 50% to get more people to invest in the equity markets. I assume that's got to be good.
Yeah.
Listen, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever we say, the research teams of the short sellers always make the statement first. It's no good. It's always no good. Companies come out, they do deals, they do revenue deals, and every time they come out with press releases, the stocks always go down, right?
Yeah.
It's the same pattern all the time.
So do we have to wait a few weeks or a few years for the big dance at Finger?
Well, I have a beard now. I look like Abe Lincoln now, so I don't want to get any longer. I don't want to look like ZZ Top here. Let's look at it that way.
If the market,
For those who don't know, they have long beards. Ed?
If the market collapses, can Finger go up?
Yes, it's the opposite. It has nothing to do with the equity market. This is about security fraud. Very different. I told you they're going to use the big stocks for accumulation. They're going to use those to raise capital. So they'll bless NVIDIA or Apple or whatever it may be. I told you the other day they're doing a market rotation. That's how you see the market keep going up. So, today they got Goldman Sachs, which they blasted down. Today it's up $5. So they killed all the banks, right? While they were killing the banks, they buy UNH. When they sell UNH, they buy Caterpillar. They can manipulate the Dow Jones by taking Dow stocks components and moving them around. That's what's going on. So be careful if you're investing and trading in the market. That's the manipulation from the government and the big cap stocks. And why the stock market keeps holding on is because they keep rotating. They can do that for a long time.
GNS is up 60%.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good answer.
I see it. Yeah. I told you, I have no idea what he's doing. He settled with the shorts. We discussed this many times. So who's the short? If he settled with them, he sued the short. It turned into a complete shit show. The stock went always back down to 60 cents, and then he came up with the dividend. And, I lost track of what he's doing.
The 10% shares that GTII issued is
October 15th.
October 15th. And if they suddenly become tradable, doesn't that dilute GTII?
Yes, it does. It dilutes GTII. And the only reason they were doing it is to force the brokerage firms to commit security fraud so that we can trap them more with legal stuff. Remember, if the brokerage firm is short, they owe you a dividend. They cannot just put a share in your account because that would be a unregistered securities offering by E-Trade, Ameritrade, and they would be committing fraud.
And guess who's watching? Wes Christian.
Everybody's watching.
Wes Christian. So,
Remember this. Yeah. Remember this, everyone. It's FNGR, GTII. Companies need their lawyers. They have to do filings. They get approvals. These guys just hit a sell button.
Right.
It's very easy to do it on a daily basis.
That's right. So, how do you see FNGR running? How high? Is there resistance above 50? Is there significant?
I think FNGR Motion is going to run shortly. I think it's going to go to the high, which is what, $9-10.
Right.
And then that's when we'll see the battle. Either the shorts come back and fight around there, or it's over with.
Do you know the trade?
Once it breaks through that 10, it's over with. Go ahead.
Do you know the tradable float in GTII?
Not off the top of my head, but I haven't been focused because I'm focused here right now.
Right.
I know the tradable float in FNGR Motion is at the depository trust is $24 million, and one gentleman in his group owns $15 million of it. So everybody look around and say, okay, we know there's other people here that own a lot of stock. Many people know investors here that own 500,000. I have a friend of mine from Atlanta told me today he had 717,000 shares. I didn't know that. And he also owns 1.8 million GTII. So there's people here with sizable positions. They don't sit there banging a drum, looking around for people to make them feel better. They do their homework and they accumulate accordingly. So that's someone who's done their homework.
Just to repeat those numbers, at the Depository Trust Corporation, there's 24 million shares, and one person or one group of people own 15 million. That doesn't leave very much on the float.
Nope.
And particularly when you
the float gets every day. We get more shares into it every day. They keep selling more.
I mean, you and I could add up 5 or 6 people that each own 1 million or more.
I just gave you a guy who had 717,000. One guy. So 15. Now we're up to 16. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that leaves 8 million shares left. We're trading we've been trading almost before the slowdown here, almost 1 million a day.
Unbelievable. That's all the questions I had. You can tell us about your favorite gambling game.
No, I got in last night, a long flight from New York, and I had dinner, and went to bed about 1 o'clock, had a few drinks, and got up at 4. So 4 o'clock is 7 o'clock for me, and that's back in New York time. So I can't change my sleeping pattern for one day. That's not going to happen. I'll be back in New York on Wednesday. I have a group meeting today. I told you 7 to 8 people. Tonight, we're having a money match. Hopefully you can fly in, and we'll have 7 to 10 people, at the dinner table, and we'll discuss what we see, things that we can do, things that we can make happen, and how do we get more people to get understanding of this. Bring people, so you understand, when you sit around and you meet people in person, everyone always has a contact that they don't believe they forget that they have. For example, who has a reporter that they could speak to, or somebody like that can help the situation. You wouldn't be surprised how many people, because one shareholder for Long Island is the one that got me Gretchen Morgensen. So, I mean, you never know. And everyone seems to have somebody. And when you sit around, they go, I have a guy who writes for Seeking Alpha, or I have a guy who does this. And that's how the game is played. It gets stronger from that point because we all row the boat together. And as we all know, we burned our boat, so we're not going anywhere. So we're here to carry these two characters out. We got Lynn Partner and friends in FNGR Motion, and the Kramers in Alpine, in GTII. Just remember, GTII, we have proof from Depository Trust. I posted it. Everyone can see it. It's right there. The DTC, FINRA, the NASDAQ, the SEC, everybody's at Alpine, and that's where the fraud lies. Why are they dragging their feet? Obviously, I have to reach out to Richard Hoffman, but, there's obviously they're hiding assets and doing something to drag this on because it's a losing battle. But yet they still keep spending money to do what? Drag it on? Only one reason is because they're trying to hide things. Just so one thing, I just want to let you know, William, that back in the day, all the hedge funds used to have a dinner. That's called an idea dinner. And 20 big hedge funds, 30 of them would all meet at a fancy restaurant. And everyone would stand up and give their best ideas. So this is a little different than that, but our ideas are all related to what? Naked shorts. Who the culprits are, where the regulators stand. A lot of people ask the same question, when is the truck going back out? I believe it's September 5th. We got a bunch of people working on some nice new slogans to teach the investigators or the regulators about how to find security fraud. If anybody give a call to the SEC. You can have the whistleblower. You can call up the Office of the Whistleblowers. Tell them what you see. Tell them whatever you want to tell them. And you tell them in your words. I can post Yvonne Hubler's name. She's the head of the NASDAQ short selling. If you want to give her a shout, she's been doing this for 23 years. And obviously she's worthless also. But you know what? Make the complaint, make the call. They won't bite you. They have to listen to you. And just tell them, do your part. That's all it is. You don't have to buy a share of stock. No one wants you to buy a share of stock. That's your business. Education is the most important thing. It's very difficult to fight security fraud, but we are.
Well, I'm sure they used to have idea meetings, the hedge funds, but now that they stumbled on the greatest money-making strategy in history, they don't need ideas.
Just sell and go away, right?
Yeah, just keep selling.
Selling. No one ever asked for delivery. There was a story recently, anybody can Google it. The pension funds settled with JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs over stock loan. And what the street was doing was, the pension funds own the stocks.
Right.
Wall Street needs inventory to lend out. So they would lend out, let's say, your 1 million shares of XYZ, and they would collect $1 and give the institution 10 cents.
Right.
And the brokerage firms were keeping 90% of the money. Because they are the stock loan, they take the bigger cut, but they were taking all the cut. So the mutual funds wanted to get into the stock loan business because they know they're getting robbed. They own the stocks that are being lent out, but they don't really get paid for it. And the brokerage firm settled and gave them $500 million to go away. That's probably 5 years worth of money that they just paid out. Just to shut them up and go away.
If this squeezes, can it start in the pre-market or the aftermarket?
Those pre-market and aftermarkets, most people don't play it. So how could you have it could, the prime broker can step up there and say, okay, bid up $4. Let's see who sells it to us to try to buy.
There's no volume there, so it won't really.
Yeah, it's not like why would you push it up with no volume? Just get the mark. All you do is lose $3-4 on it, right?
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd wait till a day like today and just go to 5 1/4, try to see what I could scoop up. Drop back down to 5. You're going to go to 5 1/2, pull back to 5, go back to 6, pull back to 5 1/2, and start accumulating that way. That's how I would do it.
From a really good and a really nice investor, a good investor, I'd asked you about Finger, but if the market collapses, will GTII go up?
They both will do the same thing.
Okay, but I only asked you about
Short
one.
sellers love to cover stocks when the market's going down. Because if the stock pops up, a lot of people like to say, oh my God, let me get out of it. The market's getting killed. Let me sell my winner because it's up on the day to make up for my losers. We all do the same thing. I've done it 1,000 times. That's how they think.
Have you found your left-handed redhead for craps?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And I'm still on a quest. I bumped into a girl last night. I asked her, she was right-handed. I said, you sure? I asked her 5 times. And she said no. She said she wouldn't even lie to me. I said, just lie to me. Come throw the dice. She didn't want to do it. But I tried.
Do you have the same targets you've had for Finger and for
It's
GTII?
life-changing. Life-changing. So you have to determine for your family and your money what is life-changing for you. You know, if you made $100 today, does it change your life? If it does, I hope it makes you happy. If you make $1 million, that's the number, whatever it may be. I can't tell you when to get in or when to get off, but when you do sell, the way to stay around to make more money is always try to make a sale to get your money off the table. Once your money's off the table, if you invested $5,000, let's say you bought 1,000 shares and you paid $5. So your goal is to get that 1,000 shares. Obviously, you know, if you sold some at 10, you sold 500 there, you get your money off the table, right?
Right.
And then you have 500 shares to hold on to forever. If it goes to zero, it doesn't make a difference because you don't lose. Right? So never turning winning trade into a losing trade. But if you broke even, that's not a bad thing. So I'm not saying you want to break even, but as it goes, you make a sell. If I sold 500 at at 10, I got all my money back. I could sell 100 at 13, 100 at 18, 100 at 22, and hold on to 200 shares then. You know, and let it go for the ride. Or you can sell it all and hold on to 100 shares. There's many ways to do it.
Do you think if Finger or GTI, if they go up massively, will they collapse the United States financial system?
The naked short selling will collapse the financial system when it all happens at the same time. The SEC, FINRA, the DTC, NASDAQ, everybody is giving us an opportunity to change our lives based off of the fraud. That's what this is about. We can do one at a time. I have no problem fighting the shorts one at a time. I'm making a career just doing that. I don't need to save everybody one at a time.
So not legal advice tells you to try out Nora's off the strip. Nora's, I don't know. I guess he's been there.
Okay.
I don't know what. He also points out to you that he's left-handed.
I don't need a left-handed guy, not a prayer. I won't even stand next to you. Again, the trading in the stock, it looks like it's ready to go. I've been saying it. It has that look. Other people are reaching out and saying the same thing. Professional traders. Again, I'm not going to sit here and try to con you into saying, "Oh, it looks like it's going to go." I'm telling you, from my gut, this thing looks like it's ready to explode.
Yeah.
That's the way it looks to me. We're 1 to 2 big buyers away from having a rocket ship here.
That would be
accumulation by retail keeps putting it away, and that's what's driving them crazy because they don't get the breath of air. They have no air. We don't let them up the air.
They don't get the volatility they need to.
That's what I told you. When they have volatility, everyone panics. No volatility, they don't know what to do.
Right. And then
So all they keep doing is offering 100 shares, trying to close the market, the spread on the stock to make you believe there's a seller. It was just offered at 5. What do? They drop 100 shares to sell at 497. So the market in the stock now is 494 to 497 versus 494 to 5. They want that appearance that someone is trying to sell stock. These are just tricks that they do. It's just a trick.
that's right.
Back in the day, I remember people putting big buy orders through Goldman Sachs, and then the whole street would go check the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Who's bidding for 100,000, XYZ? And you would go down there, and the broker would come back. The floor broker would say, "Hey, Goldman Sachs is a big buyer at, let's say, $30 a share. They're bidding for 100,000." Everybody would hear about it, and everybody would run in front of it by the $30.12 stock. We could trade in, 16ths or an eighth. So the spread would go quickly. Before you know it, it'd be 30 and 3/8 of 3/8, and somebody was shorting into it. And all of a sudden, the 30 bid from Goldman Sachs would cancel. All right, got everyone to buy it. They shorted it, and then the stock would go down. Those are tricks that used to be done all the time, and they still do it.
One guy wants to know why the $9 calls aren't moving. Everything else is. I don't know. You got to get closer to $9, Right now, the stock's pulled back a little bit.
Oh, I don't know what the options. Let me look.
The 5s are on the ask are 80, the 6s 55, 7s 40, 8s 35, 9 30, 10
right.
25. That's on the ask.
Right. Listen, the options sometimes don't move until the last possible second, then they jump. That's just how it is. Remember, each option series is a different stock, really, right? Each one has a different buyer in it. Until it gets in the money, okay, where it has a value, like the $4 calls are now worth $1 because they're almost $5. The stock is $5.
Right.
That's when they become parity. The premium disappears.
The time premium goes away.
Right. Then the 5s become the active one. Then after it moves up, the 5s, then the 6s become the active one.
Right.
They're becoming the monies. So I'm a believer in, as the stock goes, if you bought some 5s in the stock and you pay 50 cents and they go to $1.25, why not sell half of them? Whatever the number is, you sell half, then you have half for free. And you don't lose when you do that. If the options never move and you never get a chance out of the gate, that's a different story. But you can trade options like you're trading a stock. Don't be afraid to make a sell. And the reason you can't be afraid, because options do expire. Time goes on. Time marches on.
You have a greater chance for the $9.
If it's going, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, they're all going to go into. They'll all become actionable.
Well, one gentleman's pointing out that October has a better chance than September, but who knows?
You know what?
You pay up for it.
Next January has a better chance than October. How's that? I mean, listen.
But you pay for that extra time.
We're trying to get. When you look at options, we're trying to use the least amount of money, which is usually the front month, because there's that much premium time. Obviously, if I'm going to buy January's or October's, I'm buying more premium, I'm buying more time. That's what I'm paying for. You're paying for time.
Right.
But if the stock looks like it's going now, why would I pay premium for January's? That's how I look at it. And if the stock is not going to work like it did before, it pulled down from 7, they knocked it back down to 4. The other options all came in value also, correct? They all
pulled back too. You would have lost the same. If you would have lost more money, they just have.
You would have lost. I tried to figure it out. I think you would have lost $1.25 versus losing 50 cents.
Right. So.
Something like that.
But you have the illusion of success because you still have.
Everyone thinks that because you're still there. I got it, but you could have bought the, let's say, July's and the September's, and you still be below the October's.
Right.
The money invested.
That's right. No more questions. A lot of thank yous, and everyone loves hearing the voice.
Well, again, if you have no more questions, again, accumulation is the key. That's the way to play it. If you want to tiptoe in, you buy 10%, 15%, 20%. This way you go in something. If it pulls back, you could be a buyer on any dips. Accumulation, buy the dips, sell the rips. If you bought it At 5, it runs to 10. You can sell some. No one's going to bite you. You can do whatever you like. Remember, survive. Potato for your own family. You need to save. Do what's life changing for you. Don't be afraid. But again, the short is 167 million. Dozer put it up this morning for me. Again, that's a Tom Ronk number from Buy-ins.net. He gets all the information from all the dark pools. He compiles it. The most important thing that people don't understand is we can see the short. No one can detect when they're buying it. That's
Right.
why we follow the stock every day, because we don't see any buying. There is no covering.
Right.
They keep pressing their bet. The system allows these guys to press their bets until we give up on it, but no one's given up on it. And now they have a problem because everyone is educated. No one's given up on it. We know the number's 167 million and no covering.
Right.
That's the most important thing here. That's the difference. Tom Rock's number, he can't detect if they're covering. He can tell us the numbers every day on how much they naked short daily. So we know they're not naked shorting at 480 and buying it back at 510 every day. They'll be out of business in 6 months.
Right.
Do it that way, right?
Yeah.
They just keep pressing the bet, and hopefully that, I told you before, they're kamikazes. They have enough fuel to go one way, and then they're done. They're going to burn up, and they're going to crash. That's how it works.
Unless we make it happen sooner.
Listen, accumulation, big players like to hear the story. The story stays strong every day. Okay? Everyone can see, I'm not a chart guy, sideways accumulation, the volatility disappears. Those are the signs to me that the stock is ready to go. Volatility up and down. GNS has been up and down all over the place. Who the hell knows what's... I have no idea what's going on.
How everyone's excited, 80 million volume, but I think that's a warning sign, frankly.
He paid off the short, so I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea.
It's up 94 cents, so I guess that's fine.
It went to 9. They killed it down to 60 cents when he paid off the long, the short. Now, who knows what's going on? I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I stopped following it when he paid off the guy.
It would have been nice to be in it today, but
yes, go out there. You can go buy it now. You can take a shot at Roger Rabbit if you like. Good luck.
Thank you, Kit. Chinese whales buying today? I think so. Finger RSI up to 33%.
Listen, that tax break in China, there's a lot of money in Hong Kong that knows about this stock, and they get opportunities without have to pay any taxes. I mean, I'm sure people are getting more aggressive in their accumulation on stocks. That's why not.
That's fine.
And when the U.S. does it, they give opportunities, they give breaks to people to go buy stocks every once in a while, right? They lowered the rates. Everyone had more money. They're giving away money. And look what happened, right? That was the explosion of Robinhood. For all the people that have an account at Robinhood that whine that they got robbed in GameStop or they stopped, close your account and get it out of there. Help yourself. Stop crying that the system is all fraud. Help yourself. Take your money. Get out of Robinhood. Send a message. Put them out of business. If they don't have accounts, they're out of business. Go find another firm. See how fast they start crying. But people don't. The shorts win because the longs don't unite together. That's why the shorts win. Investors, we all have our own pain tolerance. If I'm losing $1, I'm going to cry more than the guy next to me who doesn't seem to bother him. He needs to lose 2 before he cries. Yeah. That's how the shorts win. But when you band together and everybody understands it, that's how you kill them. And I believe that finger motion is now, everyone is educated about it. Everybody understands how big it is. Again, the proof, the data, you can't make that up. Right? Proof, data doesn't lie, people do. It's right there.
All right.
That's it?
That's everything. So don't bet it all.
So hopefully we got you to the where we needed to be today. So
That's great. Everyone loves that you came on. We look forward to hearing you tomorrow. And
I'll be drunk on the street tonight. So look to me tonight in Las Vegas.
they're going to kick you out of your hotel. You'll be sitting on a bus bench.
I'll be drinking out of a garbage pail. I'll be drinking, looking for something to eat. Anyway, listen, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Be ready for battle.
Thank you,
have a
Ham.
great night.
Thank you.
You got
Ham.
it.
All right, bye. All right, guys. I'll try to go till 3, but I'm not going to go till 4. I'm too, I don't know, all of a sudden not feeling great. But Angler, if you did a edit, if it's good, that's fine. If the market drops, would it take down Finger and GTII? I guess it depends on the magnitude of the collapse, but it's counterintuitive. But the fact is, if a prime broker or a brokerage firm is feeling margin pressure and they're seeing the value of the holdings in their accounts collapsing from the leverage in margin accounts as the market goes down, there's demand to sell every asset, close every position they have. And in that environment, they want to reduce risk. You're going to actually see the stock prices of GTII and Finger and other short positions go up, possibly. Thank you, Lee. Evergrande open for trading. That's good. I might not make it till 3 o'clock because my head is really pounding. Finger and GTI are life-changing. Will they have enough money to pay everyone? Sure. It goes first, your broker-dealer is on the line. They'll start calling whoever sold it to them. They'll probably call the prime broker. Hey, where's the shares? You never close this trade. But when it goes to error accounts, it's a different mindset. They just buy in. So it'll be your broker dealer. Prime broker will go after their own client, buy them in. And as the numbers get larger and larger and larger, it'll go to the DTCC, which is really just all the big boys and girls. And they'll be on the hook. And in terms of the system going down, it's not the whole system. It could rattle it, but if Merrill Lynch is short, 100 million shares of Finger, and it goes to $1,000, Merrill Lynch could go down, but your account might be at Wells Fargo, and guess what? Wells Fargo all of a sudden has a lot of money under its asset base, so it just moves around in the system. Can GTII do whatever GNS? Sure. But I wouldn't want GTII to do this. This is I can't find it. There, 84 million shares trading, and it's up 95 cents. I would hope that if GTII trades 84 million shares, it'll be $2,000, $2,500 a share. Yeah, thank you, Ordinary. I think I feel all right, but it's like it hits all of a sudden. Actually, it makes me a little nervous that something wrong with me. I hope not. I hope there's nothing wrong. I just think it's being tired and being tired and bored with myself. I get up in the evening, look in the mirror, sick of my hair, my nose, my face. Can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This love's on fire, and we're just dancing in the dark. Yeah, he wears people out. He's got a lot of energy. Ham just doesn't quit. I know people like that in life. It's a nice thing. Send a note, broker dealer asking the actual date when I can sell my GTI dividends. They said I could sell it now. Well, if you can sell it now, it shouldn't be showing as restricted in your account. I don't think people that you call at your brokerage firms know what the heck they're talking about. Yeah, check my blood pressure. Magnesium glycinate. Oh, Lordy. All these things. But it is like that. It just felt like that all at once. Something like that, whatever you're talking about. I don't think my blood pressure is high, but I don't think you can tell your own blood pressure, can you? So Finger is 495. It's a decent day, 479,000 shares. But it's not an outrageous day. I just feel heady. I don't know what. I don't want to guess what it is. My GTI and TD Ameritrade look exactly the same at the well, they are the same. They're both common shares. It's possible that a firm can arrange for you to sell your shares. It's to the gentleman that asked before, maybe they'll let you sell the shares because internally they need shares to close out positions. But they would be really... that would be an unusual restriction. Oh, they don't show as restricted. So maybe the restriction is off. Maybe the restriction is off. Yeah, they get better as you keep saying, do you know what you're talking about? Look, the thing is, I'm not sure you know what you're talking about. They might not have the restrictions on anymore. What will the CBDC do to our investments? Very little. I didn't know I wasn't feeling well until my head felt like, half the blood just came out of it. MMTLP is now past the 60-day S1 deadline. That's not exactly how I read that deadline, but I could be corrected. I read it was 60 days after approval you had to move the shares. But I stand to be corrected. I could be wrong. Eventually, there's only 3 things that can be going on right now. Most people did not, other than original shareholders, most people did not transfer shares to a American stock transfer. So this is a way of inducing enough people to move over there so they finally can close out that loose end, and it's, you know, the bus is full. The second thing that could be happening is that the system maybe has come, or just a few people have come to an agreement as simple as, tell you what, why don't you at NextBridge, why don't you accept all the shares that transfer over, and once we reach a cutoff point, which hasn't been announced, but once we reach a cutoff and it slows down, we will, if it goes over the allocation, maybe it's Goldman Sachs, we will pay, or Merrill Lynch, we will pay NextBridge X amount of money per share of newly issued shares of NextBridge to clean up this mess. That could be going on. That's complete speculation on my part, but it's logical in the sense that all of a sudden everybody's moving shares when before it wasn't happening. So maybe that's why I think maybe there's a settlement in the background. The other thing that could be happening is that they are just accommodating people because of the special dividend that McCabe put out, the special thing. And they're just waiting for approval, and then people are going to race to get in there. Anyway, in all three of those scenarios, one, that it's being actively encouraged to transfer by the system. Two, that they're just trying to clean it up and get to fill up the bus so the bus can pull out of the station. Or three, that God, I'm just not thinking very well. I can't remember the third one, but at the point, my point is at some point in time, the number of shares which are at American Stock Transfer are going to be it. And the rest are MMTLP placeholders. Now, the advantage of having your shares at AST are, one, you have them at AST. Two, you know what you got. And three, I think it's a good fundamental story that's going to pay off. And any uplift in value you don't pay taxes on. But the negatives of having them at AST is if the system settles on these MMTLP stub amounts, you probably won't get anything because the financial system, if they settle, because you got your shares. So it's a way of the brokerage. That's the other thing I was trying to say. The brokerage firms might be just trying to wash their hands of some of the liability that they currently have. Anyway, I think you can make arguments for both, but for me, I think it's safer to have your shares at AST. And if you have to wait, you have to wait, but I think you'll get rewarded. You may miss out on a financial settlement from the brokerage firms. I'm not sure that would apply to a legal settlement, because a legal settlement very well may include everyone simply for the pain and suffering. Deacon Blues says it pretty well, I think. I'd rather not risk the benefits of holding on to fake shares in my broker's accounts. I'd rather have the real NBH shares. And there could be um, an aspect that, hey, you didn't try to move them. Why didn't you try to move them? Lawyers on the other side are going to do every evil trick they can. But don't worry, you've got big investors that are fighting, and they're on the line too, and they're going to make sure that the creepy criminals don't get away with it. Yeah, GNS, I don't know why everyone's so thrilled with it, but I think it's great. I'd love to be up that much today, up 89 cents. But when you see almost 90 million shares trading, that feels like a stock that's stuck in terms of the big boys being able to absorb the blow and keep selling. I mean, I don't know enough about it, but to me, at some point, whether it's from here or higher, they'll just drive it back down. Well, if you attempt to transfer, you get a special dividend. I don't remember all the terms of that, so I'll be careful. I could try to remember, but I'll leave something out. I do agree with you. I think if you try, it might be good enough. Hoping for $5 on GNS. Doesn't look like it's going there now. But we'll see how it does after the close. Maybe it runs. This is certainly much better than it was. Grow up, Arthur. You'll make a fine adult. All right, I'm gonna hang up in 1 minute. It hasn't been holding me because it's been very slow on the way up. Yep. Later on, we'll get ice cream. This is a robe. Put it on. Oh, my head pounding. All right, so I'm gonna. Oh, good boy, just sleep there. Hey, Blondie, don't die, Blondie. Don't die, Blondie. All right, 492, 495 to 499. 2,000 by 400, 481,000 shares. Not a lot of shares traded while Ham has been on the phone, so I take that as a good sign. But I'm gonna pass on the power hour with you because I feel like I'm gonna, just I don't know what it is. I'm sure I'm all right. But I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So. I'm just going to wish everyone the best. I don't have any advice to pass on, but I might just lay down to just see what's going on. But anyway, lay or lie? Lie while you lay. You can lay while you lie, my dad used to say, but you can't lie while you lay. And I never got it right. He always knew that you lay the book on the table and you lie down. You lie back. It's all confusing. I look peaked. I do feel peaked. Can't explain it, man. All right, so I'm going to just wish everyone peace, love, and happiness. And that was a good call today. I think this action in FNGR is terrific. Great job in GNS. That's fantastic. Hopefully several of these start to go. I don't care if you make a ton of money and I'm not in the stock. I don't care. I just want it to, hurt the big boys in their pocketbooks. So yeah, hydrate maybe. All right. It was my pleasure, and we will see you mañana.